Hello and welcome back to episode 13 of The Human Condition.
Great to be back.
Today we're doing a deep dive into something interesting you brought to us. It's an excerpt from a piece called The Art of Not Quite Arriving.
That's right. It seems to tap into a feeling that, well, a lot of us might recognize, even if we don't really have a name for it.
Exactly. So our mission here is to, unpack the core idea, really get into the nuances of this feeling, and maybe see why it resonates.
Sounds good. Where should we start?
Let's dive right into the main concept. The source talks about this kind of perpetual tension, a state of being not quite arriving, not quite remaining.
Yeah, and what's really insightful, I think, is how it frames this not quite feeling. It's not just a passing moment, is it?
No, it suggests it could be, like a persistent condition, a state we actually occupy.
Right, like being stuck in a hallway, maybe, never quite settling in one room. It's not a quick thing. It's a place you might, well, live for a bit.
And the way it feels, that description is so specific, it doesn't hit you over the head.
No, not at all.
It hums, it says, like a fridge in the distance.
Persistent, but you could easily overlook it. It just blends into the background noise of life.
You might even think it's just silence, that quiet, constant hum of just being in that state.
Exactly. And it's so different from, the big crises we usually think about. This is internal, low grade. Maybe even trickier because it's not dramatic.
Yeah. And the source links this feeling to a kind of quiet isolation, doesn't it?
It does. It mentions that suspicion that maybe everyone else got a memo you didn't.
Yeah. Instructions on really basic stuff.
Right, like how to be decisive or even how to want cleanly, how to just believe without parentheses.
Oh, that one hits hard. You look around and it seems like others are moving with, more clarity, more conviction.
Well, you're sort of navigating this subtle philosophical vertigo.
Yeah. You're doing the things, brunch, the apps, keeping up the sociocultural charade of being fine.
But underneath,
there's that feeling the source describes so honestly, feeling vaguely fucked.
But it's crucial how it qualifies that, isn't it? Not in a tragic, movie-worthy way.
Right. More like a quiet spreadsheet and unanswered text sort of way. It's that low-level dysfunction in just, everyday life.
So how does that hum, that feeling of missing the instructions, how does that shape how we see our lives?
Well, the piece suggests it makes life feel like a collage of nearlies. You're nearly there, nearly ready.
Nearly whole. Always defined by the potential, the edge of arrival, rather than arrival itself.
Which leads to this big reframe, doesn't it? What if the work isn't about progress in the usual sense? Not about visible wins or fixing some big flaw.
Right. The source asks, what if the work is actually simpler and maybe harder?
What if it's just staying?
Staying curious, staying open, staying present right here.
Even when here feels, underwhelming, like that lukewarm coffee moment it mentioned.
Oh, lukewarm coffee.
Yeah.
He uses that to talk about the beige, doesn't it?
Yeah. It kind of pushes back against our fear of mediocrity. It suggests most of life, the real human stuff, isn't the highs or lows.
It's lived in the middle, in the beige. And maybe there's something important there.
There's that beautiful line suggesting there's a deep, humbling intelligence in noticing the ordinary.
And that wholeness. It isn't about solving yourself.
No, it's about witnessing the fact that you're trying, even if it's poorly, earnestly, inconsistently.
It totally flips the script on self-improvement and success, doesn't it? The value is in the attempt itself, the messy process.
Okay, so let's try to sum up this deep dive. We've explored the art of not quite arriving, that quiet hum, that liminal state.
Marked by missed instructions, that philosophical vertigo.
Right, and how it can make life feel like that collage of nearlies, always on the verge.
And then the really profound idea. Maybe the real work isn't achieving or solving. Maybe it's just staying present.
Even in the beige middle, finding the value in the ordinary act of trying.
And for you, listening, maybe just having a name for this feeling, recognizing this art of not quite arriving as something real, something others feel, maybe that offers some recognition or even, a little relief.
You're not alone in that hallway, basically.
Exactly.
Which brings us to that final thought the source leaves us with. It's quite provocative. If the point isn't the perfect arrival or sounding perfectly wise, what if embracing the stumbling, the earnestness with a vocabulary?
Trying to reach for beauty and maybe just grabbing something slightly off.
What if that's not failure? What if that's actually just being real?
Something to think about.
Definitely something to ponder until our next deep dive.